Have you ever felt totally fine and then you touch one old thing from your marriage and grief hits you like it's brand new? If this happened lately, nothing has gone wrong. Today, I want to show you how to steward your heart while God is still healing you without panic, without shame, and without spiraling. Welcome to Beyond Believing. I am Katie Ann, a certified life coach, single mom of 5, and I walk alongside divorced Christian women rebuilding their lives with God. So what do you do when grief shows up unexpectedly and you still want to stay aligned with God? Let's talk about what that moment actually means. By the end of this episode, you will know how to tell the difference between grief and regression, what to do in the moment grief surfaces, and how to trust God's timing without turning on yourself. Because if you misinterpret tenderness as failure, you'll start managing your healing with control instead of trust. One of my clients shared something with me recently that I have been sitting with. She was cleaning out her garage, nothing spiritual, nothing dramatic, just normal everyday life. And then she came across a box from her wedding, things she hadn't looked at in a very long time. And as she stood there, emotion surfaced. She could feel the old urge rise up to prove that she was fine, to shut it down, to throw the box out, to make the moment mean something. And instead, she did something new. She stopped, she breathed, and she said, God, what is this? Not because she was unraveling, not because she was spiraling, just because grief showed up unexpectedly. And in moments like that, the temptation is to immediately make meaning out of it. Why am I still carrying this? What am I supposed to do with this? Does this mean I'm not as healed as I thought I was? That's usually where women turn inward, not with curiosity, but with quiet accusation. But instead of doing that, she took it to God. Here is the truth that steadied my client, and what God has continually had to teach me as well. God is responsible for removal. We are responsible for stewardship. And part of that stewardship is learning how to hold grief without letting it consume you. There's a delicate balance here, and this is where so many women get tripped up. When grief arises, your brain wants to tell you that feeling is the most dangerous thing you can do. So it gives you two options. Either you avoid it completely, push it down, stay busy, suppress it until it eventually explodes, or you sit in it, you replay it, you analyze it, and suffer, believing that being present with emotion means being consumed by it. But neither of those is actually true. And here's what I teach my clients and what I've had to practice myself. Emotions are not dangerous. They are directives. They are not permanent. They are physical sensations in your body. And allowing yourself to simply acknowledge their presence without judging them, suppressing them, or spiraling in them is what actually regulates your nervous system. I like to explain it this way. Emotions are a lot like a tantruming toddler. They don't need to be argued with. They don't need to be punished. They don't need to run the house. They just need to be recognized. And once they are, they begin to calm down. Learning how to feel is not consumption, and it's not stoicism either. You can experience emotion without becoming it. When emotion rises, here's what stewardship looks like in real time. Name the emotion, notice where it sits in your body, and say out loud to yourself, I am safe. And then you simply ask, what does truth say about this right now? That's it. You're not fixing the feeling. You're staying aligned while it passes. And then God didn't give my client a command. He gave her a picture. In Matthew 13:24, Jesus says, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat. When the servants saw the weeds, they asked if they should gather them. Now consider this. He said, no, lest in gathering the weeds, you root up the wheat along with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. Notice what Jesus is telling us here. The presence of weeds does not mean the seed wasn't good. It does not mean growth failed. And it does not mean something needs to be urgently fixed. In fact, he warns that premature removal causes damage. As my client stood there with that box, she realized something simple and deeply peaceful. God wasn't asking her to get rid of it that day. He wasn't disappointed. He wasn't delayed. He was inviting her to steward her heart and trust him with the timing. No panic, no shame, just peace. If something old has surfaced for you recently, I want you to hear this clearly. Tenderness does not mean failure. Emotion does not mean regression. Healing is not the absence of weeds. It's the presence of wise stewardship, while God brings the harvest. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are growing. If you keep interpreting resurfacing grief as failure, Selah healing is where we practice staying steady while the weeds show up, without forcing yourself or turning on yourself. This is the heart of the work we do inside Selah healing. We don't rush grief, and we don't make emotion the enemy, but we also don't let emotion take the lead. We teach women how to be present with what they feel without being consumed by it, how to stay regulated, anchored, and aligned with God, while healing is still unfolding. Inside Selah, we identify the false agreements that taught you feeling was dangerous or that peace required numbing, and we replace them with practices that help you remain steady, discerning, and connected to God in real time. Not because emotion disappears, but because it no longer drowns out the truth. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to learn more about Selah Healing, the space where we practice this kind of stewardship together with support and clarity. You can find more information at coachkatieann.com/call or the link in the show notes. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next episode. If this brought peace or clarity, leaving a rating or a review helps other women find this work as well. And if you know someone healing quietly, share this episode with her. Until next time, remember this. What God is doing in you right now is preparation, not delay.